This is Karen on newclevelandradio.net, and it's time for What in the World with Paul Seaburn and his sidekick, John DiNallo, who does weird sports and commentary. This podcast is in collaboration with Cleveland 13 News WCTU. WCTU's mission is to empower and unite the community through reliable and unbiased, engaging news coverage. That is a mouthful. Today's show is sponsored by What Would You Say to a Naked Alien? Henry Ivanus McIntyre and her memoirs, and Yes I Can coaching with Karen. Today, I think you are going to talk about Japan. Did I read that right? Something about Japan, Paul?
Well, now, Karen, the name of the show is What in the World? So, of course, get outside of Cleveland, which is where we all live, and go out into the world, so to speak. Because if I just, and I love Cleveland, but I can't get an hour's worth of really funny, goofy news to fill up an hour of What in the World. So,
Oh,
so
I could find it for
uh,
you. There's a lot of goofy people here.
we're performing a service to our listeners out there. We are introducing them to all the strange things going on, so you feel better about your hometown, wherever you might be. Uh, Thanks for that introduction, Karen, and for getting us distracted right off the bat, which is the name of our show. Distracted is our middle name. I am Paul Seaburn, your host of What in the World, everybody's favorite weird news podcast. Real news, sometimes strange, always funny. That's our motto. We are here every week on Tuesdays at 3:30 Eastern Standard Time when we're live. And many of you, we do have a number of people who watch us live. Thank you so much for doing that. You can do that on YouTube. Go to newclevelandradio.net and you'll find all the links to YouTube, to the various platforms that we're on. If that's too long to remember paulseaburn.com. That's my website, which also has the links. If that's too hard to remember, just look up Karen or myself on Facebook, and we got all the stuff there as well. If you can find links after that, I'm sorry, go back to school. Maybe repeat 11th grade or something. So thank you so much to everyone who's joining us from wherever. Especially for our new viewers and listeners from Channel 13. We're so excited about our relationship with Channel 13 News. I was talking about it this weekend at a get together that I went to. I'm trying to remember the website is cleveland13news.com. So if you go there, you'll find some articles that Karen has posted about our shows and links to our YouTube portion of the show. So I recommend watching us on YouTube because we have a lot of great photos that go along with the stories, and you get to see what we look like as well. So, and by we, let's start with the first voice that you heard, Karen Hale, our producer, co-host, and media mogul at newclevelandradio.net. Lots of great podcasts there. Please check them out after, of course, you check out the latest What in the World. In fact, you could check out What in the World for hours and hours and hours because we've been podcasting with New Cleveland Radio for 13 years. For 9 years, this is our 9th year. So we're really excited about that. And we still keep finding weird news. And the other half of that is my old buddy, our sports guy, co-host, color commentator of What in the World, John DiNallo. Hey, John, how you doing?
Hey, Paul, Karen, and audience, doing well in Florida and enjoying the weather. Understand the weather is getting better in Cleveland, which is good to hear. And our show is coming to you live. So again, those of you that are able to see us live, another added feature, so to speak.
Well, for everybody out there who's not from Cleveland, the temperature today is somewhere around 50 degrees, which in Cleveland is bikini weather. So we're, go out. People are outside in their shorts. They don't have a shirt on. They're mowing the lawn. Cleveland's the only place in the world where people shovel their snow so they can mow their lawn. We just love when the temperature gets high enough that we can get out there and mow the lawn and do all that yard work. So people are out there, but there's a lot of other interesting things happening in Cleveland, and we're going to be talking about them today, as well as around the world. As Karen mentioned, we're going to Japan for some weird food stories. We're going to lost my oh, we're going to Florida, where John is broadcasting from temporarily while he's on assignment to look at some iguana tacos. So that ought to be another fun food story there. We've got President Obama made an interesting statement this week about UFOs and aliens. And many people don't know, but there's a real strong and interesting Cleveland connection to President Obama and his UFO story. So we're going to go get into some depth on that. Funny story, but it fits right in with the theme of our show. In Japan, the worst place to eat a pork cutlet. That's what we're going to be talking about there. I'll just get into it. I don't even want to spoil it there. And today is Fat Tuesday, Mardi Gras Day. That means that all of the Catholics are gorging themselves on food. In Cleveland, we're gorging on these giant jelly donuts called punchkis, so that on Wednesday, Ash Wednesday, tomorrow, we begin to fast. That's part of the Lenten tradition for Catholics and many other Christian portions of the Christian faith. Tips on fasting only at What in the World. These are the best tips that you'll ever want to hear. If you're having trouble learning what you can eat and what not eat while you're fasting, I've got the answer. So let's get right to our first story here. So we love talking about food on What in the World. Let me get my my pictures lined up here, getting ready to go here. All right. So there's our other sponsor. What would you say to a naked space alien? My new book. It's available on Amazon.com. Please check it out. It's a lot of fun stories about aliens and UFOs from the other half of my business, the paranormal world. So, but we want to talk about food. We love talking about food. So you can't grow up in Northeast Ohio without loving pork cutlet. John, I bet you love pork cutlet. It's
sure. Yeah. It was a staple in our
dish.
household. Yeah, it was a staple in our household growing up. Sure.
Oh yeah. You know, a day doesn't go by on Facebook where I don't see someone asking where's the best place to buy a pork cutlet or paprikash or some of those other great ethnic foods. So the answer is not Japan. And that's the lead into the story. So there's a restaurant chain in Japan called Fuji Soba. I'm not sure what that means, but you'll come up with your own answer after you hear what they're serving. So they have a new kind of pork cutlet. Now, it's not the pork cutlet itself that's new, but the topping. It's not that great gravy, that mushroom gravy that grandma used to put on her pork cutlet that you grew up loving. It's drinkable ice cream.
Ooh.
Thank you, Karen.
Oh,
I was almost worried I'd have to wake you up there. Drinkable, squeezable ice cream. It comes in a squeeze container, and we have a picture here of the person squeezing this vanilla ice cream on top of a perfectly, or at one time, perfectly good pork cutlet. So, drinkable ice cream. I thought the only place you got drinkable ice cream is at McDonald's because the machine is never working.
Yeah.
But
that is true.
Yeah, John, have you ever seen anything like this?
No.
Just like
I have not seen anything close to this, Paul, Karen, and
no,
audience. But
this is like what the astronauts take up in space, John.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, you're ruining two good foods by putting them together.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, really. It's like squeezable cheese. If it comes in a tube, it's not good Italian cheese or French cheese. It's some kind of garbage cheese. And I hate to say this, that might be what this ice cream is.
Oh, geez.
I don't want food in a tube. I'm not into food. Anything any kind of edible food that comes in a tube. I don't want. I might get mixed up with my preparation H, and that would cause.
Oh no, don't mix it up
Oh,
with that. Oh my gosh.
Wait. Yeah, I know. How are you going to get that image out of your head now? I'm
oh,
sorry about that. Okay, but look at the image I've already put into your head. Ice cream on a pork cutlet, squeezable from a tube ice cream. So even the Germans have heard about this story, and they're saying 999. This doesn't. You can't have this. I asked a German friend. He said there's not enough beer to make me drink that or make me eat the ice cream on a pork cutlet. And how do you eat it? That's the other thing I was thinking about because I have eaten at Japanese restaurants, and typically they want you to eat with chopsticks. So I would have a hard enough time eating a pork cutlet with chopsticks. But then a pork cutlet with ice cream on it, I'd have to wait until somebody at another table ordered this and watch how they eat before I decide. But I wouldn't even buy it. It just turns my stomach. So you can't. It's written in English on the tube, but it's upside down on the picture. The brand name is called Coolish. Coolish is the name of the ice cream, which is one letter away from what you look like when you eat squeezable ice
yeah. Yeah.
Oh my
You know,
gosh.
I think it's a plot by the Japanese to weaken us Americans. You know, 'cause for a lot of us, scooping ice cream is the only exercise we get. Um, you know, that you got to dig in if it's still frozen. Um, you know, so at least you're working one bicep, John. You know that, right?
Sure, I understand that, Paul. Yeah, I mean, but this is really, I have to ask the question, how long has this been going on, or when was this introduced in Japan? Do you know?
Oh, that's a Marvin Gaye song. Or no, is that a Marvin Gaye song? How long has this been going on? I
No, that was Ace.
Hey,
Ace
oh,
sang the
thank
song.
you. Oh,
Yeah,
very good. Thank you, John.
sure.
The answer is about a year. They had a
Okay.
different. They talk about this, a couple other foods. They had some other. This chain comes up with these weird things every year. So it's been popular enough that they're willing to let the rest of the world know about it. Um, they even squeezed it on noodles. So I guess that maybe they have a link with the squeezable ice cream people. So I didn't even want to put a picture of ice cream on noodles. That was too disgusting. This whole thing is like what we used to eat on the day before payday when you don't have any money to go to the grocery store and you go to the refrigerator and you just pull together whatever you got and eat it. Or when we were in college and you had the little refrigerator in the dorm and that's all that was left, ice cream and a cold pork cutlet. Um, so I know the answer to this. Nobody wants to have anything to do with this. To make it even worse, if you look closely, I think there's a fried egg on top of the pork cutlet, which would make the pork cutlet extra tasty, except for the ice cream.
Yeah,
So
it just kills it kills the whole motif. It just
yeah,
does.
yeah. So ice cream is a dessert. I think we would all agree that ice cream is a dessert. And yet if you eat this ice cream on the pork cutlet and you still have room, they have a new dessert that they're trying to promote in Japan as well. So, done with your pork cutlet and ice cream. The next thing you have is a blueberry sandwich on purple bread. Blueberry,
Yeah.
Purple bread.
No.
Purple
blueberry.
bread. I don't know if I've ever seen anything like that.
Yeah, this is from 7-Eleven. Blueberries, blueberries and cream cheese on purple bread. You know, I think that's what killed Prince, if I remember correctly, eating too many of these things. So if somebody hands me purple bread, the first thing I'm going to say is, what, did Barney sneeze on this bread? Is that
No, yeah, right.
because John, I'm not sure. Did they soak it in Kool-Aid or grape soda? Is it?
You know,
Uh,
I have to say this is quite an educational show here for us today, Paul. But But quite
I hope you
honestly,
mean that in a good way, John.
I'm meaning it in a good way for certain. Definitely,
Where's
folks. But
Julia's child when you need her?
No,
yeah.
oh, nobody on
But
TV would eat this. I was thinking, I don't like, I like my food to be the color that God intended it to be. We're getting too religious here, but I don't even like eating with sunglasses on because it turns all the food into different colors. I have to I'll squint before I eat with sunglasses on. So they call this a dessert sandwich, and that's what it is. For those of you who aren't, I think they cut the crust off. It looks like the crust is off the white bread. So maybe this is a kid thing. I don't know, but blueberries, cream cheese on purple bread. Um, they call it a dessert sandwich. The only dessert sandwiches that I would even eat would be Oreos and moon pies. Those are
Ooh, that sounds good.
yeah,
or the more conventional ice cream sandwich.
or the more
Yes.
conventional. That's right. That's right. There's a well-defined dessert sandwich, ice cream sandwich, an ice cream on a cookie. You can't
Sure.
beat that. Yeah, that's a dessert. Uh, this is Cleveland. The only thing we want our blueberries in are pies and punchkis. So,
Or donuts. Or donuts.
or donuts. That's right. That's right. So, so speaking of Cleveland, I mentioned that over the weekend, former President Barack Obama was on an interview, a podcast, I guess, and he was talking about all the former presidents and political candidates always get asked this question now. When you take office, are you going to open up the UFO files, or when you were president, did you ever look into the UFO reports? Did you ever see a crashed UFO? Did you ever meet with aliens? And in my other life as a paranormal writer for Mysterious Universe, I wrote many stories about presidents who had UFO experiences. Jimmy Carter was very famous. President Eisenhower allegedly met personally with aliens out in California. So there's a lot of these stories, but I never heard of one about Barack Obama until this weekend. So he says, he was asked if aliens are real. I think I have a picture of President Obama to go along with this. There you go. Here's a picture of the president, and also with a UFO photo that was taken by a pilot who had flown from the aircraft carrier USS Nimitz probably about 15 years ago. It's a very famous photo these days. So he says, aliens are real, but I haven't seen them, and they're not being kept at Area 51. So that's all he said. The media went nuts on this. I mean, every place I turned, they were talking about Obama says aliens are real. Obama saw alien, even though he said he didn't see them. I mean, this was bigger news than when he wore a tan suit while he was president. That's how big. So if he didn't see them, the first question I would ask, my follow-up question would be, President Obama, how do you know? How do you know that they were there if you didn't see them? And my guess is he would answer that he got a text, because I think this is where we got these alien emojis that
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Uh-huh.
I think those came from actual aliens, and those are actually selfies made by aliens. So he could have been the first person to get one of those in a text from the alien saying, "Hey, we're here. Just don't tell anybody about us." So so he got so much pressure. Like a day later, he had to go back on another podcast and explain that what he actually meant. So he said, and I quote, "I was trying to stick with the spirit of the speed round." Apparently, they were asking him questions very quickly. And he said, "But since it's gotten the attention, let me clarify. Statistically, the universe is so vast that the odds are good there's life out there. But the distances between solar systems are so great that the chances we've been visited by aliens is low. And I saw no evidence during my presidency that extraterrestrials have made contact with us. Really!" Exclamation point. Of course, we don't believe him. He's probably been sworn to secrecy, and he's not allowed to tell anybody. And the men in black visited him over the weekend and said, you gotta retract this statement or you're in big trouble. But
Yeah,
we're going to,
it seems like it's a mixed signal, right?
oh, well, very good, John. That is, in fact, right before the show, I was looking through some articles from that side of the media, and that's one of the things that they're saying is that it's part of a cover up that he's involved with, and they're preparing the public for the grand announcement that's supposed to be coming up soon that aliens really do exist. So he kind of slipped up. Maybe he slipped up, or maybe he's part of the group preparing us for this big announcement. But there's a Cleveland link to all of this that nobody touched. You're hearing it first on What in the World. So, what's the Cleveland link? In 2007, there was a presidential debate on NBC. This was the Democratic candidates presidential debate, 2007. Who was running for president in 2007? Barack Obama was one of the people running. Another candidate running was none other than former Cleveland mayor, former Ohio Congressman Dennis Kucinich. And this was a famous podcast because the host was Tim Russert. Now, John and I know Tim Russert very well. He went to the college that we met at, John Carroll University. Tim was a senior when we were freshmen there. I don't. Did you ever meet Tim, John?
Yeah, I did, as a matter of fact.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so did I.
he
Really
was
nice guy.
he was really a very active student. Did a lot of got a good things for the school. Did a lot of good things for the school for certain.
Yeah, yeah. So Tim Russert, Cleveland boy, he figures, well, he'll ask the question of former Mayor Dennis Kucinich. So he said, candidate Kucinich, Shirley MacLaine just wrote a book, and Kucinich knew he was in big trouble, right? Whenever you bring up Shirley MacLaine in a presidential debate, Shirley MacLaine wrote a book and said that Dennis Kucinich was her house guest, and this was in Washington State. And while he was there, he saw a UFO, a triangular UFO, and he told her about it. And he said it was a triangular craft, silent and hovering. He told her he felt a connection in his heart with the UFO, and he heard directions from the UFO in his mind.
Oh,
Wow,
Now,
that's amazing.
yeah,
wow.
yeah, isn't that sounds kind of touching, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that's the reason why he had to drop out of the race because people did nothing but mock him as a result of that revelation in 2007. And now here we are just 20 years later, and former President Obama's talking about it all the time. They're asking President Trump about it all the time. It's open discussion. But poor Dennis Kucinich was knocked out of the race because he couldn't live down the fact that he was proud to announce that he had seen a triangular UFO. So Kucinich's answer was, yes, I did. And it was an unidentified flying object. Okay. It's like it's unidentified. I saw something. To answer your question, I'm moving my campaign office to Roswell, New Mexico. And you have to keep in mind that Jimmy Carter saw a UFO, and more people have seen UFOs than approve of George Bush's presidency. So he somehow managed to wrap it back.
Wow, that's like a full circle commentary there. Wow.
So anyway, so to make this long story even longer, and I'll give you the 25-cent version. I was at a church picnic last year, and my wife and I and friends of the show, Tim and Shirley, were having lunch. We had just finished volunteering at the picnic, and who comes walking up to us but none other than Dennis Kucinich, who was running for state representative at the time. And so I told him who I was and who I worked for at that time. And I asked him about it. And he said, I did see a triangular UFO. Everything I said was true. And it was, it was too bad that it affected my campaign then. Now nobody cares. So there's the connection to Cleveland connection to President Obama's announcement about aliens may or may not be in existence.
Okay.
Yeah. So while we're on the subject of space travel, NASA Administrator Jared Isaacman is his name. He announced that the Crew 12 mission, which I think just went up to the space station, and Artemis 2 astronauts, those are the ones that are going to be orbiting the moon. Their mission was just delayed for a couple weeks. They will be allowed to take their iPhones and other modern smartphones. Oh, there's a picture of Dennis Kucinich. They will be able to take their smartphones to the moon. So he gave them permission. They formerly weren't allowed to take their smartphones to the moon. Apparently, they were all upset about that. So now they get to take their phones to the moon. And John, you know what's going to happen. They're going to see aliens. They're going to take pictures with their smartphones. They're going to get back. And what are those pictures going to look like?
Well, you think one of those pictures might look like Sasquatch? Might be. I mean, I'm just thinking. I'll tie that in.
If they look like Sasquatch, I'll be thrilled.
Yeah, no, I mean, Bigfoot. Bigfoot's been known to be in all parts of the universe.
They're going to be blurry.
And they'll be blurred. That's right, Karen. They'll be blurred.
That's right, Karen.
If we can make out Sasquatch, I think that would really be cool. But I don't. I have a feeling that, and it's, when all the three of us and many of our listeners were around in 1969 when Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin became the first humans to step on the moon, at least the first humans that we know of. Back then, they had special cameras made by Hasselblad. Hasselblad, we don't talk about cameras the way we did back then. Hasselblad is a very expensive one of the top, if not the top, cameras in the world at the time, and they had specially modified just for the moon so that their pictures were crystal clear. There was no question about what they were taking pictures of. Now we're taking a cell phone, Yeah. and I can't get excited because Voyager 1, which was launched, I think in the early 70s, has already left the solar system. So this is it was launched in 1967. This is 60-year-old technology that's millions and millions and millions of miles away. They made it out of some wire and some gum and some duct tape, and that
somehow made it happen.
That's right, John. It's still broadcasting and still sending information back to Earth. So they should dig up, they find those guys if they're still around, and they should have had those guys make some special cameras for the astronauts to take, not their cell phones. Oh, I'm just so disgusted. And what are they going to be doing, John? They're going to be on the far side of the moon. Oh, nobody's watching. Let me check my emails.
Check and text messages, right? Sure.
Yeah, they're going to be looking at Facebook. They're going to be, one of them is a female, so I hope they don't download porn. But they're going to be doing stuff that you do when you have a phone in your hand. I hate to say that.
Sure.
Are they going to have service? Let's be honest.
You think? Oh, a bit behind the moon. Oh no, well, that's a good question. They're already working on getting internet service on the moon.
Oh my God.
Yeah. It's why not?
Okay.
I'll tell you who's behind it is Elon Musk. Because he's the guy behind all the satellites that we have up on Earth, so he wants that contract as well. We're not going to get into that, but anyways, so there you go. So they're taking cell phones to the moon so they can take pictures. Hopefully, maybe an alien will photobomb them. They'll be taking a selfie and they get back to Earth and there's a head behind them, kind of like Dennis Kucinich over here. That'll be maybe it'll be Dennis Kucinich's head.
And we have to go to the ends of the moon.
There you go.
They're aliens.
Find out that Dennis Kucinich is an alien.
Yeah, right.
So we're on the subject of flying. I love talking about world records on What in the World. So here's our first world record for this week. This guy's from Texas. Richard DeFries is his name. He set a Guinness World Record when he folded 250 paper airplanes in 1 hour. And then he had to wait while the judges tested every single one of them to make sure they could fly. End result, he set the world record for the most flyable paper airplanes folded in 1 hour, 250 of them. Poor guy.
Wow.
Yeah. After he was exhausted, he tried to fall asleep and he kept having memories of trees chasing him, you know, angry trees.
Oh, wow.
And then he finds out he's going to go back to work. Now his boss knows why they keep getting the name Xerox Customer of the Month, because
Yeah.
he's stealing paper every day and folding paper airplanes. Uh, we men pride ourselves in being good at folding paper airplanes. Did you know that there is no Guinness World Record category for men folding fitted sheets? I
There's a
wonder
reason for that, Paul.
why.
There's a
We're not
reason
as
for that.
Yeah, John, we're not as good as we think we are. So learning how to fold a paper airplane, I don't know if it is this way today, but that was like a rite of passage for us when we were kids. It showed that you were coordinated. It showed that you knew a little bit of geometry and maybe a little bit of aerodynamics. Wouldn't you say so, John?
Yeah, I agree with you 100%, Paul. Exactly. Yeah, it showed you had something on the ball at that time.
Yeah. And if you were really good, you could fold more than one design. It looks like this guy folded the same standard paper airplane design that
Mm-hmm.
everyone folded. But if you were good, there were all kind of different ones that did loop the loops and different things. So if you could do two, you were proud. And then of course what happens? A Chinese kid moves to the neighborhood and you show him your paper airplane, and he takes a piece of paper and he folds it into a Godzilla that stomps on
Oh, that's
your
a bad result
airplane.
there.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
a bad
and
act.
all that origami stuff. The so folding paper was a part of school when we were growing up. Think about it. We folded hearts. We just had Valentine's Day. We used to fold, you would fold a piece of paper and cut out a heart to give to your mom. Or you folded it in the wintertime and you made a snowflake, cutting out the little holes in it. You made stars. You could fold a paper. You learned how to make a hat. That was another rite of passage. Remember that you made
Oh
those
yeah,
out of the
sure.
newspaper, right?
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
cool hats. Yeah, we used to wear. And then John talked about this a few weeks ago. We guys at least used to make paper footballs, and you would
Oh,
fold a
of
piece.
course. Yeah, the paper
Yeah,
football game was fun.
yeah.
Sure.
So we thought we were very skilled in folding paper until we became adults, and then we completely lost the skill. We can't fold sheets. We can't even fold wrapping paper. The person the person who invented the gift bag was a guy. I'm convinced. That,
Yeah,
you
you
know.
can rest assured of that. Right.
Oh yeah, yeah. So then I was thinking, Karen, if all those things were basically guy things, guy folding things. Did girls have an equivalent thing that they would fold? Did you have some kind of thing that you would fold pieces of paper into and play with?
No,
No, you never
no.
played the what's it called?
Oh, the
Uh,
thing with the
the fortune
fortunes
teller.
in it. Yeah, that we
Yeah,
did.
there you go. I find
Yeah.
so this blew me away here. So this is a from WikiHow, shows how to fold this thing, and it was you had to put both hands in it, and you opened and closed it, and did something, and who will I marry? Those were the questions that you asked. So it was called the fortune teller. But as I was looking it up, and you can see on the top of this instruction guide, it says how to make a cootie catcher. Before this was the hijacked by girls to make it into a fortune teller, in England, they invented this. It was a cootie catcher, and kids used to pretend they would fold this up, and it looks like a giant mouth, and they would go after their friends catching cooties.
Oh,
Yeah,
geez.
right. Sure.
Those British people, they know how to have fun, don't they?
Oh yeah.
For the fortune teller cootie catcher. Okay, so we mentioned John's in Florida. He's down there looking for Bigfoot. That's his retirement job. We found that out last week. Uh, you could retire. All you need is one clear picture, John, and you'll be rich and famous for forever.
Yeah, I'm still on the quest. Still on the
well,
quest.
we'll be you'll announce it on What in the World. We know that.
Oh
So
yes, definitely.
I also asked John last week to look for frozen iguanas falling from the trees, but unfortunately, with the weather getting nicer, I don't think you'll be seeing too many. But this guy, a couple weeks ago, when it was cold, not only was he picking up frozen iguanas, but people were bringing him their frozen iguanas, and he was making them into frozen iguana tacos. Here's a
Oh,
yeah, yeah. His name is Gray Davis. I think that was the governor of California a long time ago, Gray Davis. So he made a video on YouTube that showed him collecting the iguanas, skinning them. You can see there's the skins over there. Taking the eggs out. There's a bowl of eggs, which apparently you can also eat. There's the meat that he turned into iguana tacos. Um, Now, he says they're absolutely delicious. So I called up another friend of mine who's down in Florida, who I know likes to eat weird food, and I told him to go find those frozen tacos. And he said that he found this guy, not this guy, but he found another guy making iguana meat, and he asked him to make a kielbasi out of iguana, because of course that's
oh,
the way we would eat them, right? He says he took one bite out of it, and he says nobody would steal that kishka. So,
Oh, okay.
oh,
Okay. Wow.
so you know, if there were iguanas in Cleveland, frozen iguanas, before we cooked them or made them into iguana cutlet or whatever, we tenderize them by putting them into potholes and driving over them a few times until, and plus that would be a good way to fill up the potholes. Uh,
absolutely.
Yeah. Now, in case you're wondering, John, if you're interested in going to pick up some of those tacos, the correct wine to drink with frozen iguana tacos is Mogan David Mad Dog 2020. So
Oh, that wine never goes away, right? It
yeah,
somehow
it never
out
goes
there.
away. You can still get it. That's right, in multiple
Right.
flavors as well. So I mentioned friends of the show, Tim and Shirley. They're also down in Florida, and Tim actually saw somebody making iguana pizzas, but he he said, "Yeah, that's just not a combination that you would put together," and he declined. Um, Now I've
Yeah.
eaten alligator, which is another lizard, and I liked alligator. Alligator tastes like chicken that was eaten by an alligator, basically. Um, so, but John and I have talked about this many times. We both grew up, we went to Catholic schools, Catholic high school. We met at a Catholic college, 16 years of Catholic education. We know all about Lent. We were mentioning that before. Lent is the time that Catholics fast from eating meat on Ash Wednesday and on Fridays. So, I was an altar boy for 8 years. That made me a good kid, but I liked to mess with the priest. And one of the ways I messed with the priest was every Lent, I would ask whatever priest was teaching religion, Father, Father, is it okay to eat frog legs during Lent? What is it? Is it meat or is it fish? And that they said I would get a different answer every year. So, John, what do you think? Meat or fish? Frog legs?
I'm gonna say fish. I'm gonna say
Fish.
fish.
Oh, very good. So, technically, frog legs are classified as fish on the big book of what you can eat during Lent. Um, that was the one of the books of the Bible that didn't make it in. So the allowable lizards and things are fish, shellfish, amphibians. That would be frogs and toads. I don't think anybody eats toads. Reptiles. So that's alligator, that's iguana, and that's also turtles. So you can eat turtles during Lent, and any other cold-blooded creatures. So that includes snakes as well. So you can eat snake meat during Lent. Now, the there's also animals, warm-blooded animals that swim in cold water that technically turns them into a form of a cold-blooded water creature. So that would be the beaver, the capybara, and the nutria. And these all were added recently, coincidentally, when a lot of them started taking over rivers and lakes, and people were looking to get rid of them. So they went to the bishop and they said, "Hey, it's in the water. Can we eat it during Lent?" And he said, "Sure." Yeah, no, seriously. With the nutria, that's what happened in Louisiana. So then I would ask the priest, okay, so Father, if a cow swims in the water, does that mean I can eat it? Because I got a cow that I can teach to swim, and that didn't work. Now, however, you can eat chicken broth, chicken consomme, any kind of, you can eat beef broth, you can eat bone broth, which is very popular. You can eat meat gravy, but you can't eat the meat. You can eat meat sauces, but you can't eat the cutlet. You can also eat seasonings and condiments made from animal fat. So those are all okay during Lent. You can eat insects during Lent. Now, they're not cold-blooded animals, but somehow one of the popes thought that it was a good idea that Catholics could eat insects. John, I don't know. Are you a big insect fan?
No, I am not, and I know that we've had many podcasts about people eating insects.
Yeah.
Chocolate covered ants, what have you, grasshoppers, and things like that. And
If
I
I
can
remember
confidently.
correctly, you won't, if you're riding in a convertible, you won't even ride with your mouth open. So in case of
No,
fly.
exactly right. I don't want to have any of those critters entering into my mouth for sure. So yeah.
So the best entry that I saw on this list of things that Catholics can or cannot eat during Lent is boogers. Believe it or
Oh,
not,
Oh my gosh.
it wasn't
oh,
me. I would be proud if I had thought of that when I was in school. Someone asked the priest if you can eat boogers during Lent, and
oh
the answer
God.
is yes, they are. They're mucus. They're not meat.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I guess he's
Okay.
right. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
right. So they are possible to eat while on a fast. So there you go for all our Catholic friends out there, the things you can eat. So if you're just thinking about all of that gives me gas. And if you're passing gas, and this is, wait, I got to rush through here. The latest innovation in artificial intelligence is something called smart underwear. Smart underwear has a tiny wearable device that is in a proper location using electromagnetic sensors to track your intestinal gas production. And unless you're married, then you have a spouse who tracks your intestinal gas production. But the researchers that invented the smart underwear were shocked when they found out that people pass gas twice as often as they originally thought. So they thought that the average human passed gas like 14 or 15 times a day. We actually pass gas on the average 32 times a day. 32 times a day.
Whoa.
Yeah. How
Wow.
about that? Doesn't include the time that you're in the bathroom either. Um, the and a lobbyist for Taco Bell said that you're not, that doesn't count when you're in Taco Bell eating. So they got out of consideration. So they said the highest number that they calculated was 59. Um, so they warn these people that if you're in the high category, to cut back on your fiber and stay away from campfires. So
No.
this they're even, John, this is right up your alley here. They're even putting together an atlas based on the responses to the poll that they took when they passed out this smart underwear. So they're going to be able to track what geographic areas of the country have the highest levels of flatulence. Uh,
Wow.
yeah, yeah. So of course I was my friend Gail, a friend of the show, Gail. I went to grade school with Gail. She lived on a mountaintop in Tennessee, and she saw when I posted this on Facebook. So she texted me that she started, and I quote, counting my farts. And I said, Gail, that's too much information. And it's 59 is not a goal. It's not, we're not going to get, you don't get a world record for topping 59.
Oh boy.
How about that? Yeah, isn't that amazing? So finally, the Winter Olympics are going on right now, and the you know I'm hooked on the curling. John, I don't know. Have you been watching the curling?
Yeah, curling was on this afternoon, as a matter of fact, and I saw the Americans competing, but I didn't have a chance to see if they ended up winning the match or not.
It's on every day. It's on all night, all day. It's like NBC is the curling channel now. That's all you see is curling.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but I was watching some of the other sports to try and learn the terminology. And so there's just the snowboarding. There's this thing called the half pipe. So my first thought was, I remember when we were growing up, this is what a half pipe was. It was a pipe,
Oh yeah, sure. With that smoke, with that tobacco, half and
yeah,
half.
with half
Sure,
and half tobacco in it. That when my
sure.
dad smoked the pipe, that was his half pipe.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, my dad smoked half and half too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
half and half. That was a good tobacco. But there's a reason why the Olympics never came to Cleveland. And that is that we would want to add an event to the Olympics in return for hosting, the Winter Olympics. And the event that we would add would be, and I quote, downhill accordion porch skiing. And here's a
Oh,
picture of
wow.
two ladies on skis playing the accordion while skiing across a porch. Now,
I,
that's Cleveland right there. That is a if you don't
I,
know
I
anything,
agree.
yeah. If they had a bag of pierogies in their backpack, that would make it complete, or punchkis if it was Lent. The So that's why we never get invited to host the Winter Olympics, because we'd be pushing for downhill accordion uh porch skiing. And on that note, that's my sport for the week, John. Let's see if your weird sports can top that one. Uh,
Well, yeah, I think it can. I'll let you and Karen in the audience determine that, Paul. But thank you for the introduction.
well,
Uh,
I'm done with my portion of the show. That means it's time for What in the World of Sports by my old buddy John DiNallo. John and I met in college. We're fraternity brothers. John knows more about sports than anybody I know, so he's the perfect guy to challenge every week. John, find us a sport that meets the criteria of our show. Weird sport, sometimes strange, always funny. And regular listeners and viewers know every week John not only finds a sport, it's generally weirder or stranger than the previous week. And I already know that this week will top at least the past 10 we've seen. Tell us what you got, John.
yeah, Paul, I'm right with you on your analysis or your evaluation of this sport here. But yeah, our sport this week, it's new, it's easy to participate in, and it is controversial.
Oh, good.
The name of the sport is Run National Championship, or RNC. And what it is a controversial contact sport that has two people colliding head on with each other with the purpose of knocking each other down.
ah,
You may remember the playground game Red Rover, where one team locks arms in a chain and a player from the other team tries to break that chain. And the chant that was always given was Red Rover, let Jimmy come over.
Yeah.
yep.
Well, think of Run National Championship as adult Red Rover, where you just try to knock Rover over.
Oh,
now,
wow.
in RNC, the collision is the one and only goal. Run Nation was inspired by Run It Straight, which was a social media trend that saw random people running into each other for bragging rights and online views. So it
Wow.
started on the internet that way. The
Oh,
premise of Nation Championship is simple. Two muscular guys stand a few meters apart and then run at full speed at each other with no visible protective gear except a mouth guard.
oh, of course.
Well, I guess they don't want to be mistaken for hockey players.
Oh,
Apologies to hockey players out there.
Wow.
They're good people. Now, the match is over when one guy, and so far it's only guys that compete, is left standing, pointing and laughing while the other is on the ground grimacing. Like boxing, RNC has different weight classes, and most participants, they are called runners, and they have a background in combat sports like rugby or American football.
Wow.
Not surprisingly, Run Nation Championship was started in Australia, and that country is the base for taking it worldwide. Organizers are hoping it will become as big as the Ultimate Fighting Championship or power slapping. Excuse me. The controversy about this sport is in the collisions and the concussions. Run Nation co-founder and CEO Tremaine Fernandez claims that despite the sport's obviously violent premise, his organization has been working hard to make it as safe as possible for the runners. If an injury does occur during the competition, there are two doctors on the field who assess what they saw and then how to treat the injury. Despite the controversy around this new sport, Run Nation Championships second edition recently sold out the 5,500 seat Horndern Pavilion in Sydney.
Wow.
And the current hype isn't showing any signs of slowing down soon. So, if you liked Red Rover as a kid, come over to Australia for the Run Nation Championship. You just might run into somebody you know.
Oh, very good.
I tell you, Karen and Paul and audience, no clue about this sport until it was discovered, a couple days
Wow.
ago, and had no idea about this, but it's going to be here to stay, I think.
Wow, that's
Oh, there you
exciting.
go. Thanks for the warning.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that's the sport. Run at each other as fast as you can. I'm flabbergasted. I'm more flabbergasted than I am about the pork cutlet with ice cream on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And look at all the people there drinking beer and watching. Of course, I think those would go together. And doctors on the floor in case
Yeah,
some.
I'm sure they're on site, right?
I wonder if they're doctors of medicine or English or something. It's
No, they're medical doctors. At least that's
real
what
doctors.
Fernandez claims. Fernandez claims that anyway.
Real doctor, and no protective gear except a mouthpiece.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's it, right? Yeah.
I don't know if this is going to make it to the Olympics.
Well,
The
I'll tell you what, though, everyone, you have to have guts to be able to participate in it. Let's put it that
I,
way.
I guess so, John. I guess so. I can't imagine. I can't imagine. Well, I can't imagine it catching on. But we've got boxing, we've got Ultimate Fighting Championship, we've got slapping. I think you mentioned face
Yeah,
slap.
power slap. Power slap is
Yeah.
a up and coming sport now, right?
Yeah, so who knows? Who knows? This may be the next sport we see in Cleveland down at the new stadium they're building in Brook Park.
Oh, yeah.
You could fill that up with two fat guys running at each other.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't think I'd ever heard of a sport like this when John told me that this is what he was going to talk about. But then I started thinking back, John, back to when we were in college, and it seems to me we were challenged by another fraternity to a run at each other at full speed and knock each other over kind of sport. I don't know what it was called, but we were challenged to participate in that. Do you remember that?
Paul, honestly, I don't. And we'll have to draw on your great memory about this and be able to help educate us about what we were doing back in the day.
Well, I don't remember either, but thank God we have photos from the school newspaper and an account. So John and I are in the same fraternity. We get challenged all the time by other fraternities to competition. And one of the other fraternities said, here's the game. We're going to run at each other, and whoever's still standing wins. So, we weren't really into running, let alone running at each other. We were more
That's
into
true.
running away,
That is true.
because of something we did. So we were into running away. Plus, we weren't in great shape. I found a picture of some of our older fraternity brothers when we were running track. Here they are. Oh, here's a couple of us running away. Here's a couple of our older guys running
Oh, my
track.
God.
So yeah, we weren't in great shape. John and I were in a little better shape. So John, of course, comes up with a brilliant idea. He says, "Okay, we'll participate," but he told He said, we'll do it. He told the other fraternity, but we get to pick the location. So they said, oh, sure. Yeah, we'll be able to do this. So John picked the location for us to stand. And he said, okay, we'll be standing right in front of that dormitory over there. So this must be me because the guy is holding a computer. So here I am standing in front of a wall, waiting for the other fraternity to have their guy run straight at me. And at the last minute, I believe I must have moved out of the way because here's the other fraternity guy.
Oh my.
So I believe that was a rule that I had knocked him down, or at least the wall knocked him down.
Wow.
And we ended
I
up,
remember that now, Paul. Yeah, it's
we,
kind of coming back to me. Yeah.
picked him up and we gave him some beer and we went to the campus bar and had a good time after that. So great sport, John. Run
Yeah.
Nation Championship from Australia. Go figure.
Yeah, keep an eye peeled for it, folks. It's going to be around.
We'll peel it, sure.
Right. Especially if there's a person running right at you. Okay, so I think that's it for What in the World of Sports. That means it's time for Bluff the Co-host, everybody's favorite weird news game. Oh, we get people from around the world asking us what's going to be on Bluff the Co-host this week. By the way, if you follow me on Facebook, you can send me ideas for Bluff the Co-host or other segments of the show. I always appreciate those. I'll mention that one of the stories this week came from one of our regular listeners. So I'll tell you who it is at the end. So I have 3 stories similar to the ones we've been talking about all day. One big difference: all of those were real. These stories may be real, may be a bluff, and it's up to Karen, John, and all of you playing out, listening to decide real or bluff. Wagering is allowed, so place your bets. John and Karen, hands on the buzzer. Let's get right to story number 1. Fans of the Winter Olympic event called the skeleton know that it was invented in Switzerland as an alternative to tobogganing, and the name comes from the sled's resemblance to a rib cage. What they may not know is that an earlier version was called the scraper because it was simply a piece of sheet metal that the person laid on and slid headfirst down the chute. The name for both the scraping sound, the name was for both the scraping sound that the sheet made while sliding, and also the most common injuries from the sport. No one wants to scrape so much that they were a skeleton by the finish, so the name skeleton became a tongue-in-cheek salute to the people who competed in the predecessor, the scraper. Okay, so before we had the skeleton, we had the scraper, which was just a piece of sheet metal that people laid down on and slid down the tobogganing chute. Real or bluff? Karen, we'll start with you.
It sounds too real not to be true. So I'm going to say it's real.
Oh, there you go. Karen logic right there. Karen says
That's good logic there, Karen. Sure.
Yeah, real story. Okay, now we go to John logic. What do you say?
I agree also. I mean, I can think that all the changes that there's been in equipment for as long as the Olympics have been going on for how many decades, right? That from humble beginnings, I think the scraper was probably the forerunner to the skeleton.
Okay, all right. So both John and Karen say that before there was a skeleton in Switzerland, there was the scraper. Let's check with the judges. And the judges say, according to the Olympic records, there's no such thing as the scraper.
Really?
Oh, really?
Yeah. Now, there may have been a stupid person who did it or accidentally stepped on something and slid down the tobogganing trail. But no, people in Switzerland say they're too smart. Hey, they invented the Swiss Army knife. They're too smart to go sliding down the toboggan trail on a piece of sheet metal. Okay, so that means both of you got it wrong. The score is still tied 0-0. Let's get right to story number 2. The leading company that makes those claw machines that eat your money without giving you the stuffed animal is teaming up with an amusement park ride maker in the Philippines to make the giant claw escape. Participants enter a large circular room where giant claws are suspended from the ceiling. As the people on the floor run around, others who paid more get to operate the claws and try to catch one of the runners. Points are scored for escaping and also for catching someone, and high totals for the day and all time are displayed on the wall. The makers say that the claws are made from foam and completely safe. The giant escape claw completed a first successful test season at a Philippine amusement park and has been visited by the largest amusement park chains in the United States. So we can be seeing that fairly soon. Okay, so an amusement park ride called the Giant Claw Escape, where people are either escaping the claw or operating the claw. Real or bluff? John, we'll start with you.
Well, this is a tough one. I'm on the fence on this one. I can see it taking place, and I can also see it not taking place, if that makes any sense. But I'm going to say it's a bluff.
Okay, John says it's a bluff. Karen, how about you?
Well, I have to agree with him because it sounds too dangerous. Even though they say it's safe and they're made of foam, I don't know. Somebody's going to get hurt. So I'm going to
Oh,
say it's a bluff.
even if you sign a release,
Even if you sign a release. Yep.
okay. All right. So Karen and John both say the Giant Claw Escape amusement park ride is a bluff. Let's check with the judges, and the judges breathe a sigh of relief and say, "Yeah, you're right. It's a bluff." Who would
All
go
right,
for
Karen,
that?
way to go. All
Yeah.
right, good. All right.
Okay, I
1-1.
believe that story was submitted by the lovely Donna, my wife, who has been trying to come up with some new Bluff the Co-host stories for us. So thank you to Donna, and congratulations to both of you. Scores tied 1-1. Points are doubled in round number 3, but that doesn't really matter. We'll have a winner or a loser or a tie on this one. So let's see what we got. You've seen artificial intelligence apps that can make people in old photos look alive by moving around. But if you really want to feel like the people are real, you need to check out a new service that adds smell to the people in old photographs. The service provides a questionnaire about the photo, then uses artificial intelligence to analyze the picture, determine the time period, and what things smelled like back then, combines the scents from a large database to create a unique odor, which it then applies to a card, which is then sent back with the photo. The smells of the pass machine and the service are still in testing mode, but it's scheduled to hit the market soon. Okay, so an artificial intelligence machine that adds smell to old photos and sends it back to you. Real or bluff? Karen, back to you.
I certainly hope this is a bluff. It sounds totally disgusting. So bluff.
Okay, Karen says it's a bluff because it's too disgusting. I don't know. That's John. Do you follow that logic?
I do follow her logic on this one. Yeah, Karen, I agree with you. I think that is a bluff. I mean, why would you want to have something like that? I mean, artificial intelligence does a lot of good things, obviously, but coming up with like a smell of a photo from the time frame that it was taken in, I just don't. I don't see the value in it.
Well, if what if it's your great grandfather and he's out in the field with a cow?
Oh,
Wouldn't you you want to have him moving around and smelling, smell that good cow smell? Not so. Both Karen and John say that's a bluff. Let's check with the judges, and the judges say, get ready for it. That service near you, that artificial intelligence app is real and coming soon.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Well,
You can,
I guess when you think of that, at least when I first thought of it, it would be bad smells, not good smells, right?
yeah,
So, I mean, there's
yeah, like
probably
great grandma's perfume or something like that.
or lilies in the field or whatever, right?
Yeah. Oh,
Yes,
lilies in the
yes,
field. Oh, there you
right,
go, John.
something along that line. So,
Yeah.
okay, all
So,
right,
so let's see. Both of you were wrong. That means you both tied 1-1. Everybody goes home happy. How about
all
that?
right, that's okay. Yeah, it's all right.
That's what we
Okay.
like. That's what we like at What in the World and Bluff the co-host. Okay. Super. Okay, congratulations to everybody out there who played as well. I hope you did better than John and Karen. But if you didn't, that's okay, because I hope you had a good time like we did at What in the World. I want to thank Karen Hale, our producer, co-host, media mogul at newclevelandradio.net. Thank you so much for everything you do for What in the World, including being our liaison to our new partner news channel, new. Let's see.
Cleveland News,
Cleveland
Cleveland 13 News,
News. Thank you.
WCTU.
Yes, it's on Cleveland News, Cleveland13news.com. There we go. So just come to my Facebook page or go to paulseaburn.com or newclevelandradio.net. You get all the information, where you can find us, all the other great podcasts that Karen has, our other sponsors, my book, What Would You Say to a Naked Space Alien, all that good stuff. We really and truly appreciate when you do that. If you watch us on YouTube, please subscribe. That's the way we find out exactly how many people we have watching the show. So please do that as well. And I want to thank my old buddy John DiNallo, our color commentator, co-host, host of What in the World of Sport, puts up with me every week and comes back for more. Of course, it's a lot easier when he's sitting down in Florida and he can go out and lay out in the sun after the show. But thanks anyway, John.
No, thanks, Paul. Thanks. Yeah, you were right about that though, and didn't mean to rub it in or whatever that we were able to do that. Just hoping that the weather continues to get better at home.
Oh, I
Yeah.
think it will. Yeah, it will. And it's only February, so winter can go into June in Cleveland. And last but not least, I want to thank all of you out there for listening to the show, for watching the show. Thank you so much for wherever you came from. If you came from Channel 13, from my Facebook page, from Mysterious Universe, from or someone told you about the show. However you got here, I hope you had as much fun listening to the show and watching it as we do putting on, because that's the reason why we do it every week. We've been doing it for nine years. We plan to continue. We're looking for big things with Channel 13 and beyond. So thank you so much for helping us make that possible. And on that note, I think I'm going to poke my head out the window and see what the temperature is like in Cleveland. I hope everyone has a great weekend. There's no holiday this weekend or anything. Clevelanders, get your punchkis in by tonight, and then you start fasting tomorrow. So don't forget, iguana is okay.
Okay. Have a great
Have a
day.
good